Hello, everyone. Welcome to a parent event hosted by Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD. I am Tiffany Turner, Coordinator of Crisis Intervention and Support, and we are going to talk about youthful internet trends here in a moment. I did want to just touch on you can submit questions virtually, and we have people kind of watching those questions. If they can be answered in the moment, we will answer them in the moment. If they can't, we will answer them at the end after our presenter is done. So without further delay, I would love to introduce our presenter. Tony Newsom is a 2002 graduate of University of North Texas, where he received a bachelor's degree of applied arts and sciences in the fields of sociology, kinesiology, and criminal justice. Prior to graduating from the University of North Texas, he received an athletic scholarship to Stephen F. Austin State University. Tony later went on to play professional football with the Houston Oilers in the National Football League and in the World League of American Football, which later became known as NFL Europe. Tony has been a member of the Dallas Police Department since 1995. In 1996 and 2016, Tony was awarded the Meritorious Conduct Award. He has various other awards throughout his career, and he is currently assigned to Dallas Police Department Internet Crimes Against Children. Tony also works closely with the Dallas Police Department's Child Exploitation Unit and High Risk Victims Unit, which combats teen sex trafficking. Tony currently serves as a training and community outreach specialist and is very knowledgeable about several topics. Tony, we are so glad to have you. Please teach us some things.
All right, Tiffany, thank you guys so very much for inviting me out. All right, parents, this is what we've got. Let me see here. Let's see if I can share my screen. All right. Let me come down. See what we got here. Bear with me for just a moment.
Technology.
I know, right? There we go. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. Guys, once again, my name is Tony Newsom. I'm a member of Dallas Police Department's Internet Crimes Against Children's Unit. I am a 29-year veteran of the Dallas Police Department. So with that being said, today we're going to discuss internet safety. And from what I gather, I have parents of various age groups throughout your school district. So we're going to try to go through some of the various age groups and just some of the things that we're going to discuss will be, I guess, social media, the various forms of social media. We're going to talk about your role as a parent. We're also going to discuss the risks that kids face whenever they're utilizing the internet. We're also going to discuss some of the various devices that are used to access the net. Now, I don't know how many of you guys out there have some form of social media, but parents, much like kids, whenever they're utilizing these things, first and foremost, they want people to like the things that they post or tweet, or I guess it's known as X now. They want people to like the photos and videos. They also go online to listen to music and to communicate with friends. But with that, once again, comes some risk that we're going to discuss today. Okay, so once again, we're going to talk about the parental role. We're going to talk about social media. We're going to talk about the various devices. We're going to talk about how to discuss with your kids within their various age groups about internet safety. Okay. Now, parents, it is a fact that kids are going to make mistakes online, whether they're playing video games or whether it be through social media. No matter what the case may be, it is going to happen. And it is not just going to be a few kids. It's going to be all kids. So with that being said, it's important that conversation should be first and foremost when it comes to your kids concerning the internet. And when I say a conversation, I mean often. Throughout this presentation, you're going to hear me say that time and time again. Conversation, conversation, conversation with your kids about what they're doing, who they're communicating with online. Now, with conversation being paramount, it's important that you utilize the opportunity to discuss with your kids about these things when they do make mistakes online, because that mistake that they make online should be an opportunity for you to educate them, to open up about what they're doing, and not just what they're doing, but also about what their friends are doing online. Because parents, whether you want to admit it or not, we do not hold the number one spot as being the most influential in our kids' life. To be truthful about it, it's their friends, because they're spending time with their friends each and every day, especially when they're going to school, when they come home, they're communicating with them online. So it's important that you have a conversation with them on a regular basis about what they're doing and how they're doing it. And not only should you utilize the opportunity to educate your kids about internet safety when they do something wrong, but also when their friends do something wrong. Utilize that also as an opportunity to educate and discuss with your kid what would they have done differently. Okay. Now, let me say this. It is very important, parents. I know that for a lot of us, man, we're growing up, or our kids are growing up in an age of technology that we didn't see, that we didn't grow up in. Telling my age here, I grew up when you left the house. It was important that you had a quarter in your pocket. Why? So you could utilize a payphone whenever there was an issue or a problem and you contacted your parents. Nowadays, every kid has a cell phone. So we have to understand that our kids are growing up in a totally different age than we grew up in. So with that being said, we need to employ empathy, meaning have an understanding whenever your kids do make mistakes. Talk to them. Don't fly off the handle. Don't just yell and scream. Don't act as if it is the end of the world, because if you do that, I promise you, your kids are not going to have a discussion with you about a situation that they may encounter whenever they're online. So employ empathy. For example, I don't know how many of you parents have Snapchat, but for a kid, a streak on Snapchat is very important. For me, a streak is nothing because I don't post on Snapchat, but kids do. So just put yourselves in their shoes and understand that they're growing up in a totally different age than we grew up in. So in this age of technology, try to have some understanding. Once again, employ empathy. All right. Also, parents, understand your role. Your role as a parent, especially in this age of technology, is not to blame social media, not to blame your cell phone provider, not to blame the internet, but your job as a parent is to guide your kids through their actions online to make sure that they make, first and foremost, educated decisions and make decisions online with thoughtful strategy. And we're going to talk about thoughtful strategy a little later, but make sure that you have, once again, that discussion with your kids on a regular basis on how to deal with situations as they occur whenever they're online. Plain and simple. All right. I've talked to parents before about role playing, meaning you as a parent spend time with your child and just pretend, for instance, your child has encountered an online predator. Go through with them how they are going to deal with that situation when it happens, and sit back and go through a strategy with them to help them better deal with that situation. And the reason why I say that is this: when we begin to role play and your kid goes through that with you, when the situation actually occurs, then they're more capable of dealing with those situations. So whatever you can fathom that your kid may encounter when they're online, role play with them and just figure out the best strategy to help them deal with that situation. And let me say why. I want you to understand why that's important. The reason why that is important is because since your kids are spending a lot of time with their friends at school and their friends are very influential, then they're going to utilize the strategies that their friends will discuss with them, with all the which a lot of times is, number one, not very good. So it's best that you have those conversations with them. And there are going to be time, parents, when you're going to have some tough conversations, especially when it comes down to sharing photos and videos, especially when it comes down to sharing erotic photos and videos and having a boyfriend or girlfriend request those photos or videos. We deal with a lot of situations like that here in our office, especially concerning our child exploitation unit. So, once again, it's important that you have some tough conversations with your kids and talk to them about the consequences of their actions. Once again, these conversations are going to have to be tough. Some conversations are going to be uncomfortable, but there are conversations that you must have, because if you don't discuss these things with your kids, guess what? They're going to discuss them with their friends. Not only that, they're going to discuss them with individuals that they meet online. And you don't want that. Okay. All right. These are some of the risks that your kids are going to deal with when they're online. Some of the risks are, number one, inappropriate conduct. For some reason, when kids are online, they feel that they are totally anonymous because they have a username and they're not using their actual name on these accounts. But what these kids don't understand is that we as law enforcement work closely with the various forms of social media that are out there. And it's easy to connect and locate individuals online either through a cell phone number or an email address. But once again, a lot of kids believe that they're anonymous whenever they're utilizing these things online, and that's just not true. Next, they're going to be dealing with inappropriate contact, meaning that when our kids are going online, they're going to be dealing with individuals who have really, really bad intentions. They are going to be dealing with bullies, online predators, hackers, scam artists. And we're going to talk about sextortion a bit today. And when we talk about these sextortionists, you're going to see it's basically a scam. But kids are under the impression that any and everything they see online is true and accurate, which is not the case. So once again, they're going to be dealing with inappropriate contact. Also, they're going to be dealing with inappropriate content. Kids are going to be online, and there's a chance that they're going to see erotic content, violence, hate speech, and things of that nature online, which once again, with every single one of these risks that I've just discussed here, it's important, parents, once again, that you have a conversation with your kids about their online actions and their online activity. Okay. Now, these are the different things, different devices that parents purchase for their kids for entertainment, cell phones, video game consoles. Every single one of these things are able to access the internet. But there's one device that I don't have listed here, and I don't have it listed here purposely, because whenever I discuss these things, parents absolutely have no clue that this would be utilized for individuals to reach out and communicate with your kids. That's going to be your smart television. We had a case here recently where a young lady was being sex trafficked. Now, she remained at home. She wasn't kidnapped or anything of that nature. Uh, our suspect was communicating with her through a social media forum through her television, her smart TV in her bedroom. her parents had taken away her cell phone and her computer. She was unable to have those things in her room at night. But what she did have access to was her television. So this individual was able to communicate with her through her television. So I say that to say, parents, go through every single device that your kid has that's able to access the internet, plain and simple. And make sure that first and foremost, if there's anything that you find on that device that's questionable, sit down and have a discussion with your child about it. Or next, go and do your research and find out about that particular social media form or that particular app. What I always request is that parents go to YouTube. YouTube could be your best resource as finding out information concerning certain social media forms, different apps, and things of that nature. I myself utilize YouTube on a regular basis whenever we come across a form of social media or an app that we're not familiar with here in our office. So I'll utilize YouTube on a regular basis just to do my research to make sure that I stay up to date on the various social media forums, as well as the various things that are currently trending. Okay, so once again, utilize your resources when it comes to YouTube and finding out about the different social media forms that are out there that are utilized, as well as apps on these various devices. Okay. Now, talking about social media, let's roll into social media. Now, what we're going to talk about here are some of the most popular ones, but I'm going to go into some that aren't so popular that parents may not be aware of. But the reason why I want to talk about those is that these are some of the ones that we have made cases here in our office. Some of the most popular social media forms that we know of: Instagram, Snapchat, you got YouTube, and TikTok. Once again, YouTube is what I would utilize parents as a great resource for researching different apps, different social media forms. Once again, it is a great tool to have in your toolbox. But out of these, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube, probably the most influential social media form right now is going to be TikTok. And what we've seen is that kids will get on TikTok and take part in these various TikTok challenges without ever considering any consequences that may happen due to their actions from taking part in these various challenges. I don't know if any of you teachers out there will remember this, but this was the Devious Leg Challenge, where kids decided that they would go into school and they would commit damage to the bathroom. They would steal cell phones. They would steal laptops from the computer labs, all because a kid decided that he was going to go to school, pull off a soap dispenser out of the restroom, tear it off the wall. He videotaped himself doing so and posted it online and stated, "Let's see who can pull off the most devious leg." When I say this thing created a major issue for law enforcement around the country, as well as school districts around the country. But once again, kids see these things online and they think it's funny, and they do it for likes, for views, for follows, but they don't understand the consequences. Here in the state of Texas, if you damage anything on a campus of education, you can be charged with a state jail felony. A lot of kids didn't understand that. So what they were doing when they were posting themselves, taking part in these various challenges, they were actually posting themselves online, committing a felony. And a lot of kids ended up finding this out the hard way. So once again, parents, that's why it's important that you have a conversation with your kids about what they're doing online, what they're posting, as well as what they see, and let them know that there are always consequences to their actions. Plain and simple. Now, this was another challenge. We've been dealing with this here in the city of Dallas, which is the Kia challenge, where young men known as the Kia boys were stealing Kias and Hyundais by using a USB cable. And they started this trend online, and there have been young men all over the country taking part in these challenges. But the issue is what they see online through these videos is glorifying these particular situations. They don't see the reality of their actions. So this is a reality of young men that decided they wanted to take part in the Kia challenge. These individuals were in middle school. Let's take a look.
Tony, we can't hear your audio.
Can't hear the audio?
You may have to stop sharing and share and include audio.
Okay, let me try that. Give me just a moment. I'm sorry, parents.
If you hover your mouse up at the top, there should be a little pop down that says share audio.
I am there trying to find, it says give control.
Okay,
Presenting.
there'll be a little button on the far end. It shows like a little, if you hover over it, it'll say share audio.
I just hit stop presenting. Okay, let me try to go back in this. Okay. There's the audio. See if I can go back to my screen. All right, how's that?
Perfect. We got it.
All
Julia
right.
Fellow joins us now with new details from these court documents. Julia.
Carol and Steve, the driver charged, is only 14 years old. Because he's so young, we are not naming him. Keep an eye on the swerving white Kia. Police say the driver hanging out the window is charged with 5 felonies, including stealing the car he's driving and hit and run. He's accused of not just hitting the bus, which lifted off the ground, but the SUV in front of it and an MPS truck. Court records show an 11-year-old on the bus was heard screaming out "my leg" and was rushed to the hospital. The front seat passenger in the white Kia is blurred in this video because he was dangling unconscious from the door by his knees. After the crash, a witness says the teen driver tried to drag his friend away from the scene. That woman told police she yelled at him, "What are you doing?"
Once again, parents, this is the consequences of their actions. But this is not what kids see online. Kids see the glorified aspect of the Kia challenge or any of these other challenges that they see. They don't see these individuals being carted off to the hospital. They don't see these individuals being arrested. But kids see, once again, the entertaining aspect of this. It's important, parents, that you inform them that there's a lot more to what they see online. Plain and simple. Educate them. Let them know. Conversation. And once again, you've got to have this conversation with them on a regular basis. Even if push comes to shove, go to YouTube. Find those videos and show them the consequences of others' actions online. So kids understand that, hey, this can and it will happen to you if you get involved in these different challenges that you see online. All right, some of the other challenges that we saw was the Tide Pod challenge that ended up sending a lot of kids to the hospital, the Cinnamon challenge, the Kool-Aid challenge, where kids would run through gates and fences, causing major damage. Also, the NyQuil challenge, where kids would take chicken marinated in green NyQuil, cook it, and then eat it. I know it sounds crazy, but these are the things that kids are following. These are the trends that they see online. And these kids, once again, are going to post these things online for views, for follows, for likes, in hopes that their videos will go viral. But parents, once again, it's important that you have these conversations with your kids about the consequences of their actions for all of these things that they see online. All right. These are some of the not so popular forms of social media that we see out there that are causing some issues for our young men and women. And when I say that, there have been a couple of these that I'm going to show you that we have made cases on here in our office. Let me say this. When the pandemic hit, social media began to kind of change. Social media became more so of a chatting platform than actually a messaging platform. And the reason why that is because kids weren't able to see their friends. They could only send them a message. So social media decided, hey, let's make a switch. Let's allow these individuals to be able to see their friends and communicate with them, which is why chatting has now become a popular form for these different social media forums that are out there now. Okay. One is Meet Me. Another is Oops. Once again, when you can start communicating with people, but this is the thing, you video chat with individuals randomly. Oops and Meet Me are both apps. I don't know if you guys remember Omegle. Omegle was a website where you could go to and you could video chat with individuals randomly. That has just been taken down. I would say maybe a couple of months ago. They have finally removed that, and Omegle had created major issues for us here in law enforcement. Another one that we've made cases on is Chat IB, also a forum where you can go online and video chat with individuals. As you can see here, due to this slide, you don't really even have to register. You can just set it up, communicate, set up a little account without actually registering your account, and communicate with individuals online, period. That's a major problem and issue. Not just is it an issue for young men and women, but it's an issue for law enforcement when it comes to us locating various suspects over these different forms of social media. All right, let's take a look at this. This is a video concerning a young lady that ended up meeting someone over a meeting.
Welcome back to News Nation Prime. We have more now on that teenager from Arkansas who was found safe over the weekend in Chicago. Haley Shell's mom believes that she was the victim of human trafficking and was being groomed by a man that she met on a website. That site is called Omegle and allows people to randomly meet strangers, and experts say it has led to a myriad of issues for minors. News Nation's Marky Martin is live for us in Dallas with a closer look at the dangers and an eye-opening report. Marky?
Hey, good evening, Marnie. Haley Shell's family directly blames that website for linking their daughter up with this man who they say then lured her to run away from home. That site, as you've been talking about, is called Omegle. And, you know, on the outside, from the surface, it's this chat platform for people as young as 13 years old. But those who have spent time on the site say a lot more happens once you log on and are.
See, parents, this is why it's important that you are fully aware of what your kids are doing online and who they're communicating with online. First and foremost, the discussion should be, number one, you never ever communicate with anyone online that you don't know, meaning a friend. And let me say this, in this day and age, it's important, parents, that we discuss with our child what a friend is. And I know that may seem elementary to you, but in this age of technology, it's really not, because kids are under the impression that individuals that they communicate with online are their friends, and they're not. A friend is someone that you spend physical time with, someone that has your back, someone whose back that you have, someone that you hang out with physically at home or at school. That is a friend. A friend is not someone that you meet online. And you need to have a discussion with your kids about what is a healthy friendship. Meaning that if you have someone who is a friend of yours, an actual friend, and they're requesting something of you that's inappropriate, that's not a healthy friendship. And they need to discuss that with you. And they need to discuss with you how to handle that situation. Once again, your kids are not to go online and to communicate with someone online that they don't know. Most importantly, they are to never, ever meet anyone in person that they've met online. And if that individual that they meet online is attempting to reach out through them, through messaging, through trying to DM them, they should never, ever communicate with them. Once again, never, ever communicate with anyone online that you don't know. Most importantly, never, ever meet anyone in person that you don't know. If they attempt to send you messages, block them and discuss that situation with a trusted adult. Now, parents, by chance, if you go on your kid's phone, cell phone, tablet, computer, and you find any one of these apps and you see a conversation that your child is having and you're not clear on the acronyms, you're not clear on the language that they're using, one of the best tools out there online for parents to use is known as Urban Dictionary. Urban Dictionary is populated by the public. So what it does, it gives you the various acronyms that are used online. Also, it goes through the different slang terms or terms that are utilized today online to give you a clear understanding of the type of conversation that your child is having with their friends or with individuals, period, that they meet online. That is very important. Once again, Urban Dictionary is going to be a great tool for you in order to get you through whatever conversation it is that your child is having through their text messages or through the conversations they're having through their DMs or the conversations that they're having through social media. Once again, a great resource, Urban Dictionary. Also, when it comes to video gaming online, these are some other platforms that we've seen that have created some major issues. We have Discord and Twitch. Once again, when these things first started out, they just started out as gaming platforms, but now they've moved more towards the chatting feature, which once again has created some major issues for a lot of young men and women online. And parents, if you don't know anything about any of these different forms that I'm discussing today, once again, your best resource to help you and to gain information so you can research these different forms is going to be YouTube. All right. Let me say this. If your kids play video games online, if your kids host a YouTube channel, if they're hosting anything on Discord or Twitch, parents, probably one of the best investments you could make is a VPN, which is known as a virtual private network. What it does, it actually blocks your IP address to keep individuals from gaining access to that information, because that IP address will give individuals your home address. Once again, a VPN is great for that. And it's not just great for your kids, it's great for you because it blocks all the data and information that you're posting out there online. It keeps these individuals from gaining that information. Okay. Once again, a virtual private network or VPN. There are so many different services out there that offer VPNs. We don't here at the Dallas Police Department sponsor one particular service, but there are just so many out there that you can utilize and determine which one best works and suits your needs. All right. So when it comes with kids and the internet and their social media devices, parents, it's important that you start kids early. As soon as they are utilizing these things. And I know that may sound weird to you because I've seen parents give a 4 or 5-year-old, even younger than that, a cell phone in order to keep their attention. But parents, when you do that, still, it's important that when you put these things in your kids' hands, you want to make sure first and foremost that you turn on your parental blocks. You want to make sure that you have an app that I'm going to go through here later. I'm going to go through some of the various apps that you can utilize in order to make sure that you keep track of what your kids are doing online. And let me say this. When you are monitoring your kids online, there is absolutely nothing that's going to be 100% in protecting your kids. The best thing you could utilize, once again, is going to be your conversation, having a discussion with your kids on a regular basis about what they're doing and who they're doing it with online. Plain and simple. And let me say this as well, parents. That cell phone, that computer, that video game system, that's your video game system. Those are your devices. Make sure that your kids don't throw this guilt trip on you. Oh, mom and dad, that's my phone. As long as I'm paying the bill, I own it. So I can go through it when I choose. Now, there's going to come a point where you're going to have some trust in your kids. But until that point, until they earn it, until they earn that trust, parents, go through those devices. Look and try to find any and everything that you possibly can that will assist you in figuring out what your kids are doing online. And I think that is perfectly okay. I don't have an issue with that, especially when your kids are online playing video games, when they're online streaming, either through their phones, through their laptops, through their tablets. Once again, as soon as your kids are able to have these devices, then it's time for you to discuss with them the different rules and regulations that you've set forth for them. Plain and simple. Let them know what your expectations are for their online behavior, period. And let them know the consequences of their actions. Meaning, if you have rules and regulations set in place, if they violate those rules and regulations, parents, make sure that you uphold those consequences. Plain and simple. Okay? And talk to them about these rules also on a regular basis. We had a parent to come in and her daughter had been communicating online with someone that was much older than her, right? And she met this individual online. So her mother stated, well, I had a conversation with my daughter about not communicating with individuals that she met online. And I asked the parent, well, ma'am, how long has your child had the phone? Well, she's had the phone for maybe about 6 or 7 years. Parents, I don't know about you, but my kids are in college. I can guarantee I could call my son right now. He probably couldn't tell me what he had for breakfast this morning. More or less a 7-year conversation that I had with my daughter 7 years ago about what she should and should not do when she's online. So once again, parents, have a conversation with your child about these devices on a regular basis and communicate with them once again on a regular basis what the rules and regulations are, and let them know what will happen if they violate those. Okay. Once again, initiate the conversation. Use everyday situations that happen as an opportunity to talk to your kids about being online. Discuss with them the stories that you see on the news about individuals getting in trouble through texting or sexting, about cyberbullying or swatting issues. For those of you who don't know what swatting is when someone gains access to your IP address and they contact 911 and state that there's a situation happening at your home that requires the SWAT team to respond. That is another reason why a VPN is very, very important. Okay. All right. When communicating, be honest about your expectations on how you want your kids to apply their online usage. Communicate with them clearly your values. And the reason why that's important is because if you communicate with your kids your values, that's going to help them to make smarter decisions whenever they're online. Once again, Role play with your kids about certain situations that can happen with them online so you guys can come up with a strategy that will best assist your child. Also, be specific about what you feel is acceptable and unacceptable behavior whenever your kids are online. So that way they know. So they have absolutely no excuses whatsoever. Okay? Also, be patient and supportive. Take your time. Don't rush through these conversations. Repeat the information in small doses and allow it to sink in. Parents, work hard to keep the line of communications open with your kid. Once again, if your child states to you a situation that they were involved in that you feel was inappropriate, parents, be calm, take a deep breath, listen to what they have to say, and then discuss with them what they could have done differently. Because once again, when you fly off the handle, I promise you, your kids are not going to come to you again whenever they have a situation online. So work hard to keep the line of communications open and listen and take their feelings into consideration. Okay. All right. Let me say this. I'm running kind of short on time here. So these are things I want to discuss. For those parents that have younger kids, elementary age students, parents, these are some search engines that your kids can utilize online that will allow them to utilize these search engines. Kidco, DKFindout.com, Wonderopolis, Wolframe Alpha. All of these are great search engines that don't allow any pornography or erotic photos or videos to show up in their searches. Meaning, you don't have to worry about them utilizing a Google or Yahoo that is publicly populated with other things. These things are restrictive, very restrictive search engines. Great for kids whenever they're researching different things online, such as homework, things of that nature. This is great. So parents, if you can screenshot this, once again, Kittle.co, DKFindout.com, Wonderopolis.org, as well as Wolframe Alpha, all great kid search engines. All right, now for our tweens. Guys, when our teens consider setting limits for how long these kids are online, when they're online, consider where you set your computer in the home, as well as their video games and video game systems. Make sure you discuss with them about who they are to play video games with online. Know their community. Okay, make sure that with this group that you utilize your parental controls. Once again, they're very effective for this particular age group. Okay, however, let me say this. Middle schoolers have the technology, have the understanding and the knowledge on how to get by some of these parental guidance controls. So parents, once again, that's where your research is going to come in. Figure out what you can do to beat your kids' strategy for trying to keep you off of their devices or locating different devices. Let me tell you why I say that. There are hidden apps that kids can put on their phones that you can't see. But going through YouTube, YouTube will show you exactly how to locate hidden apps on their devices. Okay? So once again, the best tool that you're going to have in your toolbox is going to be YouTube to help to assist you. And once again, if you find some language or acronyms on them that you don't understand, Urban Dictionary can help you out with that. Okay? All right. So our tweens are going to be, they're going to be filled the need for independence. Once again, it has to be earned. They're going to be very adept at finding information online. Most importantly, what these kids need within this age group is guidance. So parents, it's very important that you set those age limits. Okay. Now for our teens, Let me say this. Our teens at this point, man, are now beginning to form their own values based on their friend group. They're going to have a need to experience some form of independence. Parents, it's up to you how long you allow that leash to be. But no matter what the case may be, at this age is when they begin to experiment online. And it's very important that you talk to them and inform them of the various consequences that could happen, especially when it comes to them posting things online that may impact their future or future opportunities, such as college or jobs. So kids within this age group need to understand that not everything that they see online is true. And individuals online may not actually appear as they are, meaning that the individual that they may see in a profile photo, that individual may not be the individual behind that account. For some reason, our kids, especially our teens, are very naive when it comes to seeing these things online. They see a beautiful young lady and they're under the impression that they're actually communicating with that young lady, when in all actuality, it's not. I want to show you guys a video about a young man who got caught up in a situation of sextortion, where he decided to communicate with someone online based on a profile photo. And that individual in that profile photo, depicted in that profile photo, was not the individual behind that account. Let's take a look.
This all-American teenager fell victim to a sextortion plot. Now his devastated parents are speaking out to Inside Edition.
And that life that he knew it was over in his mind.
17-year-old Jordan DeMay was homecoming king and popular at his school in Michigan. Like a lot of teenagers, Jordan started a flirtatious relationship with what he thought was a pretty young woman on social media. She convinced him to send her an explicit photo, but she turned out to be 3 scam artists from Nigeria who demanded $1,000 or they'd send the picture to all of Jordan's family and friends. Just pay me right now and I won't expose you, the lowlife wrote. Jordan sent all he had, $300, but the bad guy demanded more. In desperation, Jordan told the extortionist, "I'm kill myself right now because of you." "Good," came the reply. "Do that fast, or I'll make you do it. I swear to God." Jordan shot himself to death. I spoke to Jordan's parents, Jennifer Buda and John DeMay.
It's an absolute tragedy that 3 men from the other side of our planet came into my home, which was secure, while I was sleeping, and murdered my son. There is nothing we could do about it.
The rates of sextortion are skyrocketing.
Helene Weiss is a cybersecurity lawyer.
These scammers have become so prolific, they're hacking into profiles that are not that young pretty girl you think you're talking to. It's actually a scammer 7,000 miles away.
The DeMays have a message for parents everywhere.
We have been urging parents to have conversations with their children that this act of sextortion is out there.
Folks, this is why it's important, once again, to have those conversations with your kids. They're going to be uncomfortable at times, but these are conversations that must be had. Talk to your kids about not sending inappropriate photos or videos. Let your kids know that the individual that they're communicating with online, chances are, may not be the individual depicted in that photo or video. And if they do find themselves involved in a situation such as this, that it's okay, that they can come to you, they can talk to you, they can discuss these situations with you, and you guys can come up with a strategy on how to combat it. For a very long time, there wasn't a site where parents could go to try to assist them in removing photos or videos that may have been posted online about their kids, but I have one for you. Hold on for just a moment. We're going to take a look at this. This is going to be our last video, but it's an important video, okay?
Losing control of your nude images online is terrifying. And if you're a teen, it may feel impossible to reverse it. Well, you can't go back in time and unsend. We can help you move forward.
Parents, this site is set up by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, who I work closely with. That site is takeitdown.ncmec.org. They will assist you in taking down those photos and videos that individuals, scammers may have posted online about your child. Once again, let your kids know that, hey, you can get through this, but they have to discuss these things with you. And parents, that's why conversation is very important. I can't say that enough. Conversation is the most important tool that you have in order to keep your kids safe whenever they're online. So when you're online, talk to your kids, especially your teens, about who they might hurt based on the things that they're posting and the individuals they're communicating with online. Do I like what the things I'm posting online? Do I like what they say about me? Could what I'm posting online, could it get me in trouble? What would the adults think about what I'm posting? Would they think it's important? But whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, ask your kids, how could what you're posting online, how could it impact your future? If they don't think about anything else, that should probably be the most important. How is what you're posting going to impact your future? Think about that before you ever post anything online. Plain and simple. So, in the end, parents, these are some top parental guidance apps that are out there. Bark is number one, Norton, Custodio, Exit, Essential Security Against Evolving Threats, and MSpy. Another one that I like to use for my kids is, what is the name of that app? I cannot think of it right off the top of my head. My son is a junior in college. I used to utilize this particular app to locate him when he's driving, his speed limit, but there are so many different apps that are out there, parents. Once again, all you have to do, hello?
Is that Life 360, Tony? Is that what you're
Yes,
talking
that's
about?
it, Life 360. Life 360. I could determine how fast, I could look at it and see how fast my son was driving. It has GPS and the whole nine. Thank you so very much for that. Yes, Life 360. Like I said, I'm getting old, my memory's going, plus my kids are getting up there. So once again, parents, talk to your kids about these things on a regular basis. I promise you, conversation is going to be the best thing for them and the best thing for you because it keeps you informed. Also, remember, YouTube is probably going to be one of the best tools for you in order to do your research about the different apps and social media forms that are out there. Also, remember that Urban Dictionary will help you with the terminology that these young men and women are using when it comes to their conversations. Okay? Guys, if you can, follow us on X. This is our Twitter or X account. We post various things about what we're dealing with here when it comes to social media and the internet. And if you guys have any questions for me, you can scan this QR code. It'll give you all my information. And I'd be more than happy to have a discussion with you guys about any issues that you may be dealing with. And I'll try my best to help you as much as I possibly can. All right, I know we're running short on time, so let me open the floor for any questions.
Do we have any questions? Yeah. She wanted you to go back to the North Texas slide so she could, that very last slide.
Okay, let me see if I can get back to it. Give me just a moment. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there we are.
Tony, do you have any certain YouTube channels that you follow? You mentioned YouTube a lot, or do you just kind of use the search feature of different apps you're coming across? How do you navigate that?
I usually use the search feature. I don't go to one particular channel. And the reason why that is because there are so many videos out there about the different things that you're trying to search. And it's, for me, I just go through which one I think is probably the most informative. So I just look at the various videos that are out there and then just make my determination from what I see that may help and assist me the best. I don't necessarily follow one particular channel.
Thank you. Any other questions out here? You're okay, go ahead. She's asking, do you have an example of a good contract that parents can do with their kids, or some sort of an outline that maybe would help facilitate that discussion on limits and
I
dangers?
tell you what, I do. I'm going to have to locate it. I have a contract, and this is what I'll do. I'll try my best to locate that, and Tiffany, I'll send it to you.
Wonderful, and I'll upload it on our website.
Okay. Okay. Sounds like a plan.
You had a question back here. Yeah.
Parents, let me say this. If you indeed employ a contract, the kids should not only uphold to that contract, you should as well. And the reason why I say that is this, is I've seen parents, like I've mentioned in the presentation, their kids will violate their contract or violate the rules and regulations, and the parents wouldn't uphold the consequences. So the message that sends to the child is that, hey, you know what? Even if I violate the rules, my parents aren't going to uphold, whatever they say they're going to do. So parents, uphold them. I mean, when I told my son I was going to take the phone, I'd take the phone. And he'd be upset and bothered, and it may create some rough situations for me, meaning that I may not be able to contact him when I want to contact him, but hey, that's a part of them learning a lesson, and it's best for the kid in the end.
So good. We had a question in the back.
Yes, I know you provide contacts, but if hey, this has paid out this, should the parent contact after having a discussion and realizing something?
So she's asking what resources are available to victims. So after a sextortion incident happens, she said you've mentioned some kind of awareness resources, but are there any resources for victims?
What normally happens, especially in a sextortion situation, I always suggest that you contact your local law enforcement agency to help and assist you with that. And once you report it to them, they will have various groups that allow that offer assistance. I think we have some through Texas state government, also, especially since sextortion is becoming a very big deal. But I don't have that information readily available right now. But there are different resources out there that can help and assist.
And I would add to that, your school counselors may be a wonderful resource if there is emotional distress that they experience from being a victim. They can, at minimum, provide you some resources for support.
Thank you.
We have another question, and she's asking, what age should we talk to our kids about sextortion?
Parents, that's going to be up to you. That's going to be up to you. Whenever you think your kids are of the appropriate age, some parents may say 10, some parents may say 14, some parents may say 7, based on how advanced your child is. So that's not a question that I feel that I can answer. I think that's going to be up to you, parents.
Can you give us an idea of the age range you're seeing as far as victims?
When it comes to sextortion?
Yes, sir.
Right now, it's high school age kids. that we see that are getting involved in this. And it's high school males. We're getting a very, very high number of high school males that are meeting what they think are young ladies online, and they're sending them inappropriate photos and inappropriate videos. I conducted a presentation here recently at one of the counselors' conferences, and there was one of the counselors that was there that stated that this situation had just happened a month ago to his son. His son came downstairs, irate, upset, bothered, upset, and explained to him that, Dad, please don't be upset with me, but I went online, I met this young lady online, and I sent her an inappropriate photo because she sent an inappropriate photo to me, and I sent her one in return. But parents, let me say this. What these individuals will do will send kids photos first in order to normalize the situation and make them think it's okay, when in all actuality, that person depicted in that photo is not the individual behind the computer. So once again, it's important that you talk to your kids about this, first and foremost. Now, that particular parent had a great relationship with his son. So his son said, Dad, what do we do? How do we handle this? I've sent this person $300 to $400, and that's not enough. They want more, and I don't have any more, Dad. First and foremost, your kids should never, ever send anything because it's never going to stop. If that person asks for $1,000 and your kid is able to send them $1,000, guess what? It's not going to solve that issue. That issue is going to continue to happen. So inform your kids to never, ever send these individuals anything. Don't send them a dime. Even if your child has sent a photo or a video, have them come to you and discuss it with you so you guys can come up with a strategy on how to move forward. But once again, the only way you're going to do that is to keep the line of communication open with your child and discuss these situations with them. Discuss these incidents that I've discussed with you today. Once again, some of these conversations are going to be uncomfortable, but they're conversations that must be had. Okay?
Any other questions from the crowd? Okay, I think that's all our questions, Tony.
Tiffany, I hope this was informative. I hope I didn't waste you guys' time.
We thank you so much. This has been wonderfully informative. I learned a lot of things I didn't know. Swatting, I didn't know about that. A lot of terms. So we just appreciate your knowledge and your expertise and your willingness to share it with us. For those of you in the audience who have a friend or a neighbor and you're thinking, I really want to share this with them, you can. We are going to post this recording on our website, emsisd.com/parent night. We hope to have that up tomorrow, and you can go on there and find the link to this. Tony, we just really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being a resource to our district.
Tiffany, thank you so very much for inviting me out. Both you and April. You guys have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
All right, bye-bye.